Bem-vindos ao nosso espaço, um mergulho profundo nos assuntos mais interessantes de esportes, ciências e temas gerais do momento. Aqui você vai encontrar conteúdo de qualidade, com análises empolgantes e descobertas fascinantes que vão expandir seus horizontes. Nossa missão é trazer informação relevante de forma dinâmica e descontraída. Queremos que você faça parte dessa jornada incrível de conhecimento e diversão. Se gostar do nosso conteúdo, não esqueça de deixar seu like e se inscrever no canal para não perder nenhuma novidade. Ative o sininho também. Aproveite!
If you love science, don't forget to like and subscribe. Deep beneath the turquoise waves of our tropical oceans lies a hidden architectural masterpiece that has baffled and inspired observers for centuries. At first glance, a coral reef looks like a chaotic explosion of biological forms, branching antlers, stony brains, and delicate fans. But if you look closer, a startling pattern emerges. These aren't just random shapes, they are the physical manifestations of complex mathematics. Specifically, they are fractals. Today, we are diving into the world of Mandelbrot geometry to understand why the secret to a coral's survival isn't just its biology, but its math. To understand the fractal reef, we first have to understand what a fractal is. Coined by the mathematician Benoit Mandelbrot in the 1970s, a fractal is a geometric shape that is self-similar. This means that whether you look at the object from a distance or zoom in with a microscope, the basic pattern remains the same. Think of a fern leaf or a snowflake. In the world of abstract math, the Mandelbrot set is an infinitely complex boundary that reveals never-ending patterns. But in the real world, fractals are nature's way of solving a very specific problem. How do you fit an infinite amount of surface area into a finite amount of space? For a coral colony, surface area is life. Corals are not plants. They are animals that host symbiotic algae called zooxanthellae. These algae need sunlight to perform photosynthesis, which provides the coral with up to 90% of its energy. If a coral were a simple, smooth sphere, it would have very little surface area relative to its volume, limiting the number of algae it could support. By adopting a fractal, branching structure, like the acropora or staghorn corals, the organism multiplies its surface area exponentially. This allows it to capture maximum sunlight and filter feed on microscopic plankton with incredible efficiency. However, the fractal nature of corals goes beyond just catching light. It is a masterclass in fluid dynamics. Imagine the ocean current as a highway of nutrients and oxygen. If a reef were a solid wall, the water would simply crash against it or flow around it, leaving the interior of the colony starved of resources. But because corals grow in fractal patterns, they create a complex porosity. As water flows through the branches, the fractal geometry creates tiny vortices and turbulence. This turbulence breaks up the boundary layer, a thin film of still water that normally clings to surfaces. By breaking this layer, the fractal shape ensures that fresh, oxygenated water reaches every single tiny polyp, even those hidden deep within the structure. Interestingly, scientists have found that not all fractals are created equal. We measure the complexity of these shapes using something called the fractal dimension, or d-value. A simple line has a dimension of 1, and a flat plane has a dimension of 2. Fractal corals usually sit somewhere between 2 and 3. Recent studies have shown that the d-value of a coral can actually predict its resilience to environmental stress. In areas with high wave energy, corals with a specific fractal dimension are better at dissipating the physical force of the water, preventing them from being shattered during storms. But the math is now facing a modern challenge. Climate change and ocean acidification are changing the way corals build their skeletons. When corals bleach due to rising temperatures, they lose their symbiotic algae and, eventually, their structural integrity. As these complex fractal skeletons crumble into rubble, the fractal dimension of the entire reef ecosystem collapses. This isn't just a loss of beauty, it's a loss of habitat. Thousands of species of fish rely on the specific nooks and crannies created by fractal geometry for protection. When the math of the reef simplifies, the biodiversity of the ocean vanishes along with it. Marine biologists are now using Mandelbrot's legacy to aid conservation. By using underwater litter and high-resolution 3D mapping, researchers can calculate the fractal health of a reef. They are even experimenting with 3D printed artificial reefs that mimic these precise Mandelbrot geometries to encourage new larval corals to settle and grow. We are learning that to save the reef, we have to respect the geometry that built it. Nature spent millions of years perfecting this recursive logic, proving that the most beautiful structures in our world are often built on the most elegant equations. The next time you see a piece of coral, remember that you aren't just looking at an animal. You're looking at a living calculation, a masterpiece of Mandelbrot geometry designed for the ultimate goal: survival in a changing sea. For more incredible facts like this, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications.